Today, I'm going to give you my thoughts after 1 week of wearing this awesome G-Shock, the GW-B5600SL, that you voted in for Watch of the Week Episode 2. As a bonus, I'm also going to present 2 new watches that you're going to get to pick from to decide what I wear for our next Watch of the Week episode, so stick around to the end. Make sure you're subscribed so you can participate in the Watch of the Week experience, and let's get into some footage. Over the last 1 week, I've been wearing this watch every single day, wherever I go. This includes all my daily walks, showers, and sports games. I thoroughly enjoyed taking this watch into the sun to build up that solar charge. And I know this is going to sound weird, but when I put this watch on, something changes and I feel like a badass wearing it. I found myself waking up excited to be wearing this watch into another day. I just love putting this watch on. So, what is it about this watch that makes me feel that way? Is it the way that it looks, or is it its magnitude of useful features? To be honest, I think I know the answer, and it can be described in one word: uniqueness. This awesome, unique Sandland colorway is just something you don't see people wearing, and to have it even more custom with this super comfy matching black strap just adds another layer of coolness that makes me super excited to be wearing this watch out every day. And that got me wondering, have you guys ever owned a watch that when you wore it, you just felt empowered? I'd love to hear what it was, so let me know. But this watch is not just a pretty face. These B5600s also pack a ton of features, and I was really happy to be using some of them in one of my other reviews. That's right, we made use of the stopwatch feature to keep track of how long this torch would remain waterproof in my $3 AliExpress gadgets review, which was fantastic, by the way. And we have another bunch of gadgets on the way. I've just ordered them today, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss it when that review comes out. Here's some footage of the fantastic backlight of this B5600 and also the awesome red reminder light which goes off if you've set a reminder for that day. Looks like I have a reminder. Better check what it is. Bottom left button. V-ball. Oh, that's right, I've got volleyball tonight. Thanks, G-Shock. By the way, some of you may remember the community post from last week where I posted this picture. That's right, the combi bracelet strap broke at last Thursday's volleyball game. So my G-Shock just broke at volleyball tonight. I was just having a hit around with my friend in the sand. We hadn't even started a round, and I just felt this explosion on my wrist, and my spring bar must have just popped out and this thing went flying into the sand. It was one of the crappy spring bars that came with this AliExpress strap, so I do still have the original spring bars, so we're going to install them now. There we go, brand new. But hopefully tomorrow's volleyball game goes a little bit smoother. So my suggestion is that if you get one of these combi bracelets from AliExpress, you're going to want to use the original Casio spring bars. What I found was that once I replaced my original spring bar back into this watch, I was able to play hours of volleyball the next day and it did not have any issues. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you smash that like button. It really does help the channel. And we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. One other feature I would highly recommend with this watch is making use of the Bluetooth by installing the G-Shock app. Now the reason I do it personally is so that I can make use of the time synchronization function. And as someone who doesn't have access to multiband 6 because I'm not within range of one of the radio towers, this is extremely useful for making sure that I've got the exactly correct atomic time. Now, if you do own a G-Shock with multiband 6 but don't live within range of the 6 radio towers, I've just put out a video with ways around that, so make sure you check it out. And I know that's an issue that a lot of you have been facing, especially those of you with these M5610s, which do have multiband 6 but do not have Bluetooth, so make sure you check that video out. So overall, I have been loving the G-Shock app because every single day I've been waking up and seeing this little RCVD received symbol at the top, and that just lets me know that last night my phone was able to sync to the G-Shock using Bluetooth and update the clock to the precisely accurate atomic time. And so overall, I've found that this has made me much more confident knowing that I have the perfectly accurate time on my wrist at all times. However, I will say, as an iOS user, I did find that I had to leave the G-Shock app open in the background so that it would receive. But it's not a big deal, the app can just be minimized in the background of your phone. And if you don't want to leave the app always open, there is a manual way to do so. You just press this bottom right button and that will sync the time for you as well. And it's also going to record your GPS location and save that to your phone as well, which is pretty cool. So the G-Shock app is incredibly capable. However, there is just so much to cover. So I'll be making an in-depth review of exactly how to use the G-Shock app. So make sure you're subscribed for that one. All of the features of this G-Shock just quite frankly make it an absolute pleasure to use. And I'm also just super pleased to know that I have the option to easily upgrade any of its parts, such as the screen lens, the bezel, and of course the strap, as I have done so in the past. Also, I'm just really stoked that this watch was so incredibly affordable as well, especially for a B5600 with a positive display, because almost all of the B5600s you see these days have that negative black display, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So if you want to get your hands on this super capable and awesome looking GW-B5600, I will be leaving a link for you in the description below. However, do note that this is a special edition G-Shock, so the stock may be limited. Alright, it's time for the bonus, and if you haven't already, make sure you let me know which is the watch that you own that makes you feel the most empowered. So let's see what our two choices are for the next Watch of the Week. On the left, we have the AE1200. Now, this watch was in the last choice, but it did not quite make it compared to the B5600. Will it win this time? Who knows? The next option we have is a brand new contender. Now, this one is still sealed in its original box, but it is the calculator watch, the Casio CA53W1. To cast your vote for the next Watch of the Week, all you have to do is head over to my YouTube profile. That's the Goat Reviews profile. Head into the community tab, and I've created a poll where you can vote on either of these two awesome watches. I hope to see you there, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the Watch of the Week review. If you've got a few more minutes, I'm leaving you with our original unboxing of this B5600 as well as our watches playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.